Viewers, Rigiji today was in Muranga County, and as usual, you know, something is cooking in Muranga. And the only thing that is cooking in Muranga is Kiharu MP Nyoro announced that he has now a new party called People's Party of Kenya. So he said that he wants to use that party to be able to support the one-term movement, and also he did not mention which position he is vying for. But when he was doing that presentation of him launching the party that he'll be using as a vehicle for 2027, he was speaking about the ambitions of a nation. So people are asking the question, is Nyoro going for member of parliament, or is Nyoro going for the presidency come 2027? If Nyoro wants to go for the president, that means that he is being used by William Ruto to spoil the votes in Mount Kenya. He wants a division of Mount Kenya votes, and that is what has made Rigiji and the governor of Muranga to hold today's celebration, because today's celebration has had a coincidence whereby they were launching the headquarters of Mount Kenya for DCP in Muranga. So the headquarters of DCP in Mount Kenya is Muranga. So they were launching an office there, and the governor of Muranga was there supporting Rigiji fully, because he understands that without Rigiji you are not going to win any seats in Mount Kenya. So viewers, we want to talk about the Mount Kenya politics. We want to talk about Gachagua versus Nyoro, because remember that prophecy that Gachagua made. But Gachagua now is trying to play it cool, because Gachagua knows one thing: if you decide to be one term, then you are on our side, but not really on my side. You are on our side, but when it comes to my side now, DCP, I will get a candidate that will vie against you, and I will make sure that my candidate wins against you. I know that is the playbook that Gachagua is going to play in Kiharu, and Nyoro is going to lose terribly. So viewers, welcome to One Ball Brain. My name is Uma Brand, and as always, remember to subscribe to our channel. That is how support us, because most of you watch and forget to subscribe. Also, like our video, hit that notification bell, and also leave a comment so that we can know what do you think about this, because when Nyoro announced he will not be joining DCP, but he is a one-term leader, I sensed something was not right here. Second of all, Nyoro is giving us aspirations of the nation instead of giving us aspiration of the constituency. So the second question is Nyoro going for the MP of Kiharu, or is Nyoro going for the presidency? Because if Nyoro decide to go for the president with the People's Party, then that means that he's playing a very dangerous game that Gachagua already told the people that I know there's an MP in Muranga that is going to come with another wheelbarrow, a small wheelbarrow for William Ruto. And that MP, we already know him. And whatever Rigiji said is what has happened with Nyoro. So Nyoro is just like following the playbook yenye Gachagua alikuwa ameshasema na intel yake that it happened. So it's either Nyoro is a serious one-term guy, and he goes out there and campaign for one term. But he needs to understand that when it comes to local politics, DCP will not go easy on him, because I may declare that he in one term. Remember, he is one term. So Rigiji is okay with him. Rigiji won't attack him, but you can see that even today from the speeches in Muranga, the Rigiji's boys and girls were attacking Nyoro, saying that kuna wheelbarrow tunafunguliwa huku Mount Kenya ku divide votes. There are some wheelbarrows being opened huku ku divide votes. Na hiyo ndio kitu yenye hatutakubali. Next person who is going to the Omatangi, also he has a party that I think he will launch, and he will maybe say that he will be using that vehicle for 2027, and that will just make you to be a one-term governor. So if you are a leader, you just better go to DCP. And again, DCP is very, very careful, because even if you go to DCP, Kagombe, the MP of Gatutu South, Sali asema ametoka UDA anaenda DCP, but watu wa DCP still wanamreject. Na niko sure Gachagua is very, 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 very intelligent. He will play a game on him. He will make sure that they go to a nomination. Wakishinda nomination, utashinda hiyo nomination, na candidate mwenye alikuwa loyal to DCP atapata ticket, not you mwenye una defect kutoka UDA, because Gachagua already knows hawa watu wenye wanatoka UDA, they are not loyal to him. Na Gachagua kitu anataka ni loyalty. Just how ODM members were always loyal to Baba. That is what Gachagua is looking for. Na hata uliona pale Olkalau, how huyu Kangodho alishinda somebody Wanjohi or somebody Mwenye alikuwa na do kumliko, alikuwa popular kumliko, juu alikuwa anajisikia kona do, kona influence kumliko, but this other guy was able to win the nomination because DCP is just playing another game in Mount Kenya, and DCP is saying that chama ni moja, mlima ni moja, kiongozi ni moja. So these other people are creating two parties, two small wheelbarrows. You have no chance because even Ruto himself has already given up with the vitu za Mount Kenya. Kitu yenye imebaki tu ni kujaribu kugaunisha Mount Kenya East na West, which is also not happening because Ruto does not have any strong leaders that can enable him to be able to have Mount Kenya breaking into two so that they can divide votes, so that Meru, Embu, Tharaka Nithi, they can go to their side now, wengine wabaki huko at least apate hizo 2 million votes za the other group. But that is not happening because somebody like Ruku cannot be the one who is heading that charge of dividing the mountain into two. Remember, Ruku does not have a party, so Ruku is coming with the UDA. Kindiki politically is not strong. He may be strong in other areas, lakini ikuja kwa siasa nayo hana. So that makes him the worst candidate to use to be able to even split the mountain. Uliona meeting yenye alifanya pale na Njuru Njeke wenye wamelipwa. It was just a silly meeting because it does not add any points to William Ruto in the mountain. So the move by Gachagua leo kwenda Muranga is not only about launching the offices. No, it is strategic, and it is to tell Ndindi Nyoro that Ndindi Nyoro, you have made a decision. You have decided to become a one-term leader, but remember, we will not tolerate whatever you have chosen. You have dug your own grave, na lazima utazikwa ndani yake. Because even leo nimeona pale Kiharu, hiyo Kiharu meeting ya Kiharu, there were two candidates wenye wanataka kusimama kwa Ndindi Nyoro pale Kiharu na DCP. And you know, if Ndindi Nyoro could have come to DCP, they would have given him the ticket because he's the best guy to get that ticket. But ni kama Ndindi Nyoro anajiona that he does not want to submit to Rigiji. And according to the 47 laws of power, you know, do not outshine your master. Rigiji is now the master of Mount Kenya. Rigiji is now the kingpin of Mount Kenya. So anytime you try to outshine him, uliona vile alifanya kina JB, vile alifanya kina Munya na kina Leni Kivuti, unawasikia wakiongea saa hii because aliwaambia mwende mfanye campaign, and that is what he will tell Ndindi Nyoro. Unajifanya ati unataka kwenda kufanya campaign Rift Valley. Do you have even the muscles to go and do campaign there? Rigiji ndio ule kesho anaenda Emurua Dikir, ashatishiwa, lakini lazima Rigiji aende. Lazima Linda Mwananchi kitishiwa iende, because now that is how you test the political muscle. You need people to see you as a strong leader, as a person who cannot be shaken by anybody. Na niko sure Rigiji, his people from Kajiado wataingia huko Emurua Dikir kesho. The government will do whatever it will do, but they will go there and they will do whatever they want to do, because that is how opposition has decided to act. Imekataa kuuziwa uoga, because the moment you become weak, the moment you become afraid, then this government will finish you badly. Na hiyo ndio kitu yenye opposition imesha realize, because watu wa government wanasema kitu yoyote, wanaweza ongea hate speech, wanaweza fanya vitu mbaya, lakini they will not be. NCIC haitawaita, DCI haitawaita, polisi hawatawashika. So ukikuwa opposition, then you need to ensure you have security. You need to ensure that you do not allow to be intimidated au kubali impunity. You go everywhere you want to go. Uliona vile Rigiji alitakiwa pale Nakuru na bado aka make sure that anamaliza tour yake ya Nakuru, and that is the strength that people are looking and saying, hey, this guy is overworking, man. Even during Uhuru time hatuko tunaona Uhuru akifanya campaign vile Rigiji anafanya. Since Rigiji was impeached, ni kama ako possessed. This guy is possessed. Rigiji ni ule ex mwenye ufai kuwa na yeye, because Rigiji has decided that he must make Ruto one term, and he is working very hard to make sure that the mountain is consolidated. He's moving, yani wiki mzima Rigiji is on rallies, Rigiji is on meetings wa Nyoro. So I just think that Ndindi Nyoro made a wrong choice, because hii meeting ya leo ya Muranga imekuwa tu kwa Ndindi Nyoro, you made a wrong move. Uko one term ndio, lakini jua that being one term does not make you our friend. It just makes you our possible enemy, and we need to crush you before election, because wanajua election zikiisha akina Ndindi Nyoro, akina Wamatangi wataenda back to William Ruto, because they are his friends na wako ready kukua the other side of the political divide. Because Ndindi Nyoro amekuwa fence sitter for a long time. Fence sitter anajifanya na kashifu serikali, ikikam the time ya kuvote, a vote. He come time to make a decision, understand, and make a stand. So people have decided to look at him as a fence sitter, as a guy who cannot be trusted. And unless he shows us something, we will not be able to trust him that he can be the one to help Rigiji to make Mount Kenya one term, because yeye alisema badala campaign Mount Kenya, yeye anasema ati anataka kwenda ku campaign Rift Valley. Nikaangalia nikasema that is very suspicious, you Ndindi Nyoro, because he talked about Mount Kenya and then he came again and explained, and I just looked at him and I said, hey, you and Mount Kenya, your obsession with Mount Kenya, I don't get it, but you are in Kiharu, you want to be an MP unless you want to be a presidential candidate. So I don't know what is your obsession with Kiharu, bala ukuja hata Busia, uende Nairobi, uende Mombasa, uende Nakuru, uende Eldoret, you are insisting you want to go to Elgeyo Marakwet, wasn't Gishu, to tell them this, to tell them that. And I just looked at him and say, yeah, you guy, ni kama mtu alikutuma, script imeanza kukutoka, because he said it once and then he came and explained it more, and I knew something was suspicious with this guy. This guy is very suspicious, that Ndindi Nyoro, because though amesema kwa one term, me I do not see the value that he's adding in one term, though he has very good points on how the country can be able to go ahead. Lakini nasema opposition should not believe this kind of guys fully. Muwaeke tu hapo, lakini msiwaeke kwa any executive meeting, wasijue masiri zenyu. Jua ni watu wenye watakuwa wanapigia Ruto simu, wanapeana siri za opposition. These guys wenye wanakuja na tuchama utu tudogo. Mtu kwanza atafute base. Mtu kwanza akuwe na 1 million votes. Hakuna vile utakuwa na chama na you do not have 1 million people supporting you out of the 50 million in Kenya. Mtu atafute kwanza 1 million supporters ndio akuje hapo anaweza kaa kwa decision table na nyinyi. Kama hawezi fanya hivyo, then he cannot sit on the decision table na nyinyi kama opposition chiefs, kama nyinyi watu wenye mmesimamia chama zenye zinaenda kupeleka Kenya to make William Ruto one time. So viewers, I want you to leave a comment and tell me what do you think, because Muranga ni kama imeshaamua that it's one time. Ruto has already seen it and there is nothing that can be done because hiyo safari imeshaenda, na Ndindi Nyoro amekubali pia yeye anataka kufanya kazi na watu wa one time, but his moves are still suspicious. So let's see what happens. This is One Ball Brain, the heartbeat of political analysis, and as always, leave a comment. See you on the next one.